The Hill neighborhood is located in South St. Louis and is about a 25-minute drive from Parkway South High. Its boundaries incorporate the area south of Manchester, north of Southwest and Columbia, west of Kings Highway, and east of Hampton. This area gets its name due to its proximity to the highest point in St. Louis, Fairmount Hills.
Coming from Hannah Road on the opposite side of Parkway South, we turned right onto Big Ben, then made another right onto Highway 141. From 141, we turned left onto Highway 44, then about 15 miles down, we exited off at Hampton Avenue. We then made a right-hand turn onto Hampton Avenue, then turned left onto Wilson. From there, we began our drive through the hill, starting with a beautiful neighborhood.
Italians were originally drawn to this area because of St. Louis's rich clay. This clay was the foundation of the brick mining industry that paid the bills for nearly everyone in the town. The clay bricks the Italians mined were used to build the houses that still stand there today. The style of the houses are shotgun, a rectangular shape no more than 12 feet wide. They are called shotgun houses because you could shoot a gun through the front door and it would go straight out the back door. There is only one hallway through the whole house, connecting all of the rooms.
Poverty is the only social problem the Hill has ever really faced. This can be seen today by the architecture of the houses. In order to build their houses and garages, residents would pick up broken bricks outside of the brickyards instead of paying for full pieces. You can actually see these half bricks in the original houses there today.
Another aspect of the Hill's history that has remained intact from its beginnings is Catholicism. What once started as a small gathering in a wooden building has since been transformed into a magnificent church known as St. Ambrose. St. Ambrose was built in the 1920s fully on donations and labor from the community. The church and its 1906 pre-K through 8th grade St. Ambrose Catholic School got its name from St. Ambrose, a bishop in Milan who later became the patron saint of Italy.
There's a lot of rich history in the walls of this church, and it's duly noted. Here you can see all the names of the people and families that donated their time and/or money to make this church as influential as it is today. Some of the people we talked to have been going to this church since the day they were born. Most notably was Joe, a 92-year-old man that told us how he was born with the church. The same year it opened its doors, he came into the world. It was so neat to see how long he has stuck to his roots and been a key part of the Italian community that Joe calls home.
Saints play a large role in the Catholic faith. This is exhibited within the cathedral. Along the pews, you can see statues of many saints, both men and women. After speaking to many dedicated members of the church, we learned that for many years, men and women sat on opposite sides of the church, even if they were married or with young children. That tradition has since been terminated, but the statues still correspond with the gender divide.
Other historic buildings in the Hill include the WEW 770 AM Radio House and the Riggio Building. The Radio House held the first ever radio station west of the Mississippi that aired for the first time in 1912, but wasn't officially licensed until April 1921. The Riggio Building is currently Shaw's Coffee, a cute cafe dedicated to preserving the building's history. The space was originally a bank, and Shaw's Coffee made sure to leave the old safes open to the public to see and explore while they snack on a pastry or sip on tea.
Traveling south from the old bank, you will come across the St. Louis Psychiatric Rehabilitation Center that was established in 1869 and is now run by the Missouri Department of Mental Health. This center provides long-term inpatient psychiatric and psychosocial rehabilitation services to adults with severe and persistent mental illnesses.
Historically, the rehab center was right across the street from the Social Evil Asylum, but that building is no longer present. On July 5, 1870, the social evil law was passed in Missouri that legalized prostitution. As long as the practice occurred in a licensed establishment, such as a brothel, and was staffed with licensed employees, such as prostitutes, it was deemed legal. Legalization of prostitution was actually a political move aimed to rid the social evil from the community by bringing the prostitutes out of the shadows. By taxing the prostitutes, the city knew who they were and required them to check in and be treated at the hospital monthly to continue their services. The asylum where the women were examined offered classes that taught them worthwhile skills needed for more acceptable jobs. Even with good intentions in mind, the plan failed as more and more prostitutes realized that they could still practice without registering and paying the tax that went along with it. Ultimately, women stopped registering and prostitution returned underground.
This area is right next to Sublette Park, a triangular park that was originally named Manchester Park, but was renamed in 1925 in honor of William L. and Solomon B. Sublette, fur traders from the West that owned land in Graduate League Square.
There is another baseball field at Barra Park where the boys would play as well. However, it just so happens it's not named after the Baseball Hall of Famer. In 1965, Virgo Park was renamed Barra after Louis G. Barra, better known as Midge, a longtime political member of this area that passed away. Even so, you could tell these men, as young boys, spent the majority of their time here playing games and having fun.
This area has made sure to preserve the history of their talented residents by creating a Hall of Fame down Elizabeth Avenue. Here you will see the plaques with the baseball legends' names along the sidewalks in front of their previous homes.
The Hill actually generated a number of talented athletes, and their Walk of Fame proves it. On Daggett Avenue, you can find similar plaques honoring the 5 men from this area that played on the 1950 USA World Cup team that upset the top-ranked England at the time in a 1-0 win.
Another widely popular sport in the Hill was bocce, a game where you roll a total of 8 balls, 4 per team, towards a smaller ball on the other end of a bocce board. Whoever's ball is closest gets the point for that round. The first team to 12 points wins. A group of men would regularly play at John and Rose's on the Hill and Milo's Tavern, so they decided to start a bocce club of their own, and thus the Italia America Bocce Club came to be in 1975. The people of the Hill didn't just play baseball, soccer, and bocce all day, every day, though. There were plenty of other places to go and things to do.
One of the first shops we stopped in was the Herbaria. The atmosphere and focus of the store is its purity. The company has been dedicated to creating all-natural vegan soaps for decades. They operate entirely out of what used to be half of Spielberg's furniture warehouse and even ship their products all over the world. We took a tour of the soap-making process, and we were shocked at how much time and effort went into making their products, which exemplified the pristine quality of them. The employees were so happy to help and even offered us our own free soap bar around the house. It was such a great representation of how kind the Hill community is. Unfortunately, we did not get to see their mascot, Soapy the dog, but we hope to return one day and be introduced.
The people living there all seem to know one another, which isn't surprising considering how many different events take place in their area. One of the largest is the Columbus Day Parade and Festa, otherwise known as Hill Day. The first parade was held near Tower Park in 1867, but has since been moved to the Hill. The parade route starts on Botanical Avenue, then to Bischoff, Marconi, Daggett, and then finally ends at Barra Park, where the community grills food and celebrates for almost the rest of the day.
Barra Park also hosts the annual Turkey Bowl on Thanksgiving, where families and friends kick a soccer ball around tournament style while burning off a few extra gravy calories.
Then there's Soapbox Derby. The Soapbox Derby is an all-American youth racing program that began in 1934 and for the past 15 years has been held in June. Kids ages 7 to 20 are eligible to race in 3 different divisions based on age and how advanced the driver is. Kids must either have an official AASBD Soapbox car and wheels or purchase a kit and wheels from the All-American Soapbox Derby website to participate. Winners of their division are eligible to move on to the World Championship of Soapbox Derbies. This race is in August at Derby Downs in Akron, Ohio. Hundreds of kids compete in this race over the course of 1 week. At the end of those 7 days, the All-American Soapbox Derby World Champion is crowned.
What's great about the Hill, though, is that after a long day of racing, famished drivers and their families can indulge in what this area is most well known for. It's food. There's far too many great restaurants to list all of them, but here's a few. Zia's is an Italian restaurant, which was founded in 1985. After over 30 years of just being a restaurant, Zia's decided to start a food truck in 2011 that travels throughout St. Louis.
Amaghetti's was established in 1921, where their famous bread has been made ever since by Louis Amaghetti Jr. Even today, the bread is made the same exact way. Not only are they known for their spectacular bread, but numerous other foods they offer are known to be the best around. This is a result of the recipes coming straight from southern Italy.
Vitale's Bakery has been open since 1976. They are known to have the best cannolis and bread on the Hill, and some say in the country.
Tony Caterniccia, the owner and head chef of Tony's, personally prepares all of their traditional southern Italy entrees. On the side of the restaurant, there is a garden where most of the vegetables are grown and within hours are on the plate.
Yes, walk through. Wait, do it again. No.
Marconi's Bakery was established in 1968 by Mr. Sam. He has been using the same traditions and recipes for over 40 years to get that signature Marconi Bakery flavor.
The first toasted ravs were unintentionally made by dropping a ravioli into frying oil. This is thought to have happened in Angelo's, where Charlie Gito's is now.
One of our favorite spots on the hill was the Missouri Baking Company. This bakery was opened in 1924 and to this day still sells some of the tastiest Italian cookies, biscotti, cannolis, and danishes you could imagine. Not to mention their famed chocolate drop we all got to try. A dozen cookies were under $6, but stopping at 12 is definitely difficult.
Speaking of bakeries, there's a couple more cakes we need to talk about. The Hill is home to 4 different STL 250th anniversary cakes within its boundaries. One is in front of Ragazzi's restaurant. The second is in front of the St. Louis Activity Center in the Southwest Garden. The third cake is located in front of Amaghetti's, and the fourth is at the intersection of Southwest Avenue and South Kings Highway Boulevard.
I can't feel that.